Hey, everybody, we will give until 1:03 and then we'll get started. All right, we'll give everybody about 2 more minutes to get on, and then we'll go from there. All right, close enough. So, how's everybody doing this week?
Pretty good, thank you. Nice to meet you, Matt.
Very nice to meet you, Laura. As far as, let's see, who's on here? Looks like there's people. I see a 407 number, and then Laura. I think you're the only 2 people that are brand new to this call, correct?
No, I'm brand new as well.
Okay, who is this on the 407 number? Because it doesn't have a name.
Shimperla Art.
Okay. If y'all want to go ahead and put your information in the chat box so we have your full name, phone number, email. And then while you 2 are doing that, I will get into the phone call structure here in a little bit, but want to kind of just get any issues anybody's got, any questions, concerns, obstacles, anything that anyone wants to discuss, open forum, open topic at the beginning before we jump into the calls.
Right now, I'm having a couple like issues because I'm a transfer from a different office. So I'm trying to solve all of those before I can actually like do all my logins.
Okay,
But I'm
no
working
worries
on that.
Now, which location are you at now, Laura?
I'm in Orlando, but I used to be with the Elite Partners 3 in Claremont, and I switched to this one. So we're trying to transfer all the logins, everything. So I just had a couple situations that I need to fix, and I will be good.
Okay. No worries. Sarah, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what do the calls kind of sound like when you're calling from the lead pool versus like the incoming live Zillow calls?
Well, I guess if I would give you advice from the way that I would do it. And again, I don't want you to think that you have to do it exactly my way, right? Because you need to do it that what tailors you best and makes you sound as connectable as possible. So the way that I talk is going to be different than the way that you're going to talk, which is going to be different than Laura and OJ and everybody else, right? So you need to figure out what type of personality fits you best when you're having those conversations with obviously random strangers. The way that I go about it is I am calling them, and I know I've discussed this before, but I'm talking to them like they're my best friend that I haven't spoken to in 6 months, right? So if you're the lead, Sarah, and I'm calling you out of the blue, when you answer, I'm like, hey, Sarah, what's up? This is Matt Messmer. How are you doing? Right? Just go right into a conversation as if I know who you are. And it triggers people to think like, oh, this person must know me, right? Like I had to have spoken to them before, even though maybe I've never spoken to you. In your mind, subliminally, you're like, this person had to have talked to me before. I don't remember talking to them, but obviously they know me. So they're going to have a lot less anxiety towards you on the hesitation piece, like that you're a salesman, right? Like when you cold call somebody, if you sound like the other salesman on the phone, you're going to get hung up on. So you got to be different. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the best advice I could tell you is high energy, be as upbeat as you can, and act like you know who they are. And that will bring their wall down to want to be more connectable with you because you're building an instant rapport.
Okay.
And then I would go right into, I know it's been a while since we spoke. You were looking at a couple homes in the area, just wanted to see where you're at. If there's anything that you've seen lately that's interesting to you, or, you know, just start probing and finding out where they're at. They might say, well, we've already found a home, or we're already working on this, or we've changed our mind. Oh, okay. So you've changed your mind. How long do you think you're going to be in the, you know, I don't know, maybe ask them about their current situation. Okay, so you've changed your mind. What's your current situation? Do you rent now? Do you own? You know, just probe. The more you can probe and get information from them on what they're doing and where they're at currently, then the more you're going to be able to help them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And hey, if it turns out that they're still not interested, or they bought a house already, or whatever, at least you had a good connection. And you can always say, well, I know that you're not in the market anymore for a house, but if you know anybody, family or friend, coworker, anything, let me know. I'm more than happy to help them just the same. Right? So at least you left that opportunity open for them. Maybe they say they just renewed their lease and it's not up until January of next year. Okay, I get it. You just got into a lease. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, huge announcement. We just had a huge rate drop, right? So we're at 5.7% interest rates right now. We were at 6.5 2 weeks ago. So as these rates keep dropping, I'll keep reaching out to you and letting you know as they drop so that you're in the know with everything, right? Something that simple, right? Just giving them some pertinent information. That would be how I would start all my conversations right now with everybody.
Okay.
Right? If it's a lead pool. Hey, Sarah, I don't know if you've seen this or not in the news, but the interest rates just dropped to 5.7%, which is huge. And that could be like a potential $300, $400 a month in savings. I don't know if you knew that. Right? So just even that little starter piece might spark their interest, especially if they're renting, right? Because think about rent, you're just lighting your money on fire every month. And rental rates right now are at a historic high. I mean, you could literally purchase a home for cheaper than you can rent it. So anyway, that's my spiel on that. Does anybody have any feedback for that? Any other questions, concerns, what they would do different?
I do have a question, but I'm not sure it correlates. I don't believe it correlates with what we're speaking on right now. So I'll reach out to you after this call, possibly, and speak on it.
Well, we can go over that now. What you got for me, OJ?
Well, I wanted to see if it would be possible for me to sit down with someone and go over actual plans and things I should be doing on a day-to-day basis to bring in more leads and get more closings, honestly.
Yep. So we're going to have our team meeting tomorrow, our mandatory monthly meeting. That will be from 11 to 1 for everyone. If you're local Winter Haven, we'll want you to be in the Winter Haven office. If you're in Orlando, we want you to be in the Orlando office. If you're Texas, meet with Eric at the Texas office. Tampa, meet together at the Tampa office. We would like for everyone to be in an office setting so that you're all together and can help each other out just the same at those locations. But we are going to be doing yearly goals, right? So we're going to be getting with each one of you, figuring out what your annual goal is going to be and how we can help you to get to it. So that'll probably fit right into what you're asking, OJ.
Okay.
I had a question.
Go ahead, Omar.
So the main meeting is gonna happen in Winter Haven, but you said in each office there will be a meeting, right? Like online, just everyone groups together. That's how it works.
Yep. So typically, whatever location you're in, you would meet at that office with your other teammates, and you would zoom in to that team meeting virtually. And then once we announce whatever announcements we need to announce for that, for the entire group, if you want to break away and do your own in-house meeting with your group, then you could do that, or trainings, questions, goals, whatever that equates to.
Yeah.
That's what we typically strive to do on tomorrow's meetings.
Sounds good. I also had another question. I just got back from overseas, and I'm just trying to, get my legs through the door and start working. I want to know, like, what's the best things I can do to start and have the best start.
I would say the best advice I could give you is to get in front of as many people as possible. When I started out, my first year real estate, I was on a team just like you guys are. And if I got a call at 9 o'clock at night, I was showing a house at 10 o'clock at night. It didn't matter. I was grinding it out for that first year, just trying to get in front of many people as I could.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. I'm just trying to like see what's the best things I can do, because I just got back and I was like, I'm gonna start now. So I want to know like whether I should be picking up calls, calling, going to the office, what exactly like the best things I should do.
Yep, I would time block your day, right? So to make you as efficient as possible, you want to time block. So a lot of people, other agents that I've spoke to in the past, they were getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, look, if you want to get up at 5 a.m, that's fine, but you can't make phone calls at 5 a.m, right? So if you're getting up at 5 to go to bed at 7 o'clock at night, you might be missing out on opportunities at 7 because you got up so early when you can't call nobody in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Most of the time in our industry, things don't really start popping off till about 9 o'clock in the morning, really. Because title companies don't open till 9, banks don't open till 9, lenders ain't getting on the phones until 9. So if we're doing any work, 9 a.m. is about the earliest you're going to get something done. Now, if you're working with a client, you might call them at 8, right? If it's a pertinent question, right? Like, hey, I'm scheduling your inspection for tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you call them at 8 a.m. in the morning, you probably get by with that. That's just fine. But when you're time blocking your day, make a designated hour. I wouldn't try to do more than 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
Designate 1 hour to make phone calls, because that way you don't get so burned out.
Yeah,
Right.
Of course, yeah.
You can go through the lead pool. There's designated lead pools everywhere. I think we got like 30,000 leads in there.
Okay.
Some of them are newer leads that might be 3 days old. Some of them might be 3 years old. I don't know.
Right.
But-
Is that on Follow Up Boss?
Those lead pools should be in Follow Up Boss. Yes.
Okay.
And they should be designated to your location.
Okay. And I also have Prime Street. They do send out leads, right? Is that true?
Yep. Prime Street will send you leads. Redfin is sending out leads, which is also tied to Rocket now because Rocket bought them out. And then you're going to get real-time touring calls that are going to be coming to your phone. That will be direct appointments. So if those come across and you answer them, it'll say real-time touring on your phone. When you answer it, it's going to be a recording. It's going to say, hello, the buyer's not on the line. They want to see, 123 Main Street tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
You accept it. Zillow does everything else for you. They send the touring agreement on your behalf. They send the schedule of the showing on your behalf. Everything gets set up for you. So it makes it very simple.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm just gonna start doing the Follow Up Boss on Prime Street and stuff. I just have to do the mock calls first because I still didn't do that. So I'm gonna have to do the mock calls, the Follow Up Boss thing.
Okay. Laura, I'll get to you in just a second. I do see your hand up. Another thing I would do, like I would probably 2 hours a day, I would make phone calls, but I would, like I said, split them up into 1 hour segments, right? So maybe do an hour block in the morning, maybe at 9 to 10 or 10 to 11, then try to do another block, maybe in the afternoon, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, something like that.
Right.
If you call someone in the morning and you don't get them, try them back in the afternoon.
Of course.
And vice versa. I also, when I call somebody, if it rings, it doesn't go to voicemail, I call that number back within like 10 or 15 minutes. A lot of times, if people see the same number of calls back to back, they must think it's important and they answer.
Okay.
Another thing I do is, let's say I call you and it goes to your voicemail and it's like, hey, everyone, this is Omar. I'm not by my phone, leave me a message, whatever. My voicemail to you is me like, Omar, what's up, man? This is Matt. Give me a call back when you get a chance. Just got a quick question. And I hang up. Literally, that's my voicemail.
Right.
They will always call you back because they're like, who the hell is this? Like,
Obviously, when you put in energy, they're going to be like, oh.
he must know me to leave that voicemail, right? I've talked to him before. I'm going to call him back and see what he needs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Energy is everything. Yeah, that's for sure.
Outside of time blocking 2 hours a day for phone calls, do some social media, right? Like 1 day a week, make a post, something real estate related. If you're showing a house, post a video. If you see something unique or cool in the house or funny, right? Like I showed a video before where people had duct taped the freaking toilet to the ground. And I took a picture of it. And I'm like, well, you don't see this every day, right? Something funny. It shows that you're out there. It shows you're busy. Maybe a statistic, right? I just talked about the rates being down. Maybe make a post about the rates being down and how much that could save them on their monthly payment.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of it like, are you local here in the Florida area?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What, if you think of an attorney right now, first attorney that pops up in your head in Central Florida, who is it? What's the name?
Not sure.
Anybody else in Central Florida? On the call here? Anybody want to chime in?
I am, but I don't know any alternatives right now.
Okay.
To be honest.
Dan Newland, Morgan & Morgan.
Yeah, boom.
Oh
Right
yeah,
there.
Morgan.
Morgan and Morgan, right? That's the first name that pops in my head because they're everywhere. They're on the freaking radio. They're on every billboard. They're on the TV, they're everywhere, right? Like they just did a holiday campaign that had Santa slipping and falling on the ground that said fall, law, law, law on their billboards everywhere. I saw them all over the place, right? That's that branding, that recognition, it ingrains in your memory, right? It's strategic. So you posting something on social media, even if it's not, call me about this or call me about that, right? Like just something funny or a video of something cool at a showing. Just you posting that on a daily basis or, every few days is going to help you build your brand.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So think about that. Every time you post something like that, think of it as like you just put a billboard out there for free.
Yep.
So Laura, you got your hand up. Sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but what you got? You're on mute. I don't know if you're trying to talk, but.
Thank you. I have been talking for like a minute. My question is that you guys were talking about the pull list. This is something that I will get in the near future. How that works?
Yeah, once you're fully onboarded, you're going to get real-time touring leads coming to your phone, as well as you'll have access to the lead pool that you can dial at any time you want.
Okay.
Or you can generate your own leads, right? Like I said, through social media. You need to make sure that you have your Zillow profile set up. Everyone on this call, if you don't have your Zillow profile set up completely with your picture on it, please do it right away. And every time you get a deal, make sure you send a Zillow review so that you can get a 5-star Zillow review. My Zillow profile lands me one deal a quarter at minimum for free that I do nothing for.
And in this lead pool, I'm pretty sure we're going to be safe with the do not call list. That is not going to be a problem calling any of these numbers.
So if anything gets put in there, it should be on the DNC already if it's on there. So it shouldn't be in the lead pool if it's on the DNC.
Okay.
If it's already a list of like maybe FSBOs or expireds, which I had Gene put a whole pile of those in today for Winter Haven, they should be removing the DNCs if they're not already removed to begin with.
Okay, and my last question right now is like you say that Zillow will send the tour agreement to the client. I'm sorry, I'm new, so this tour agreement completely be different from the buyer's agreement, correct?
Yep. So I'm going to get into the phone call now, but I will go ahead and let everyone know the buyer broker agreement is a completely separate document from the touring agreement. Okay. So the touring agreement is, think of it like a way to get you in the door with that client without the client feeling like they're tied down to you with some sort of monetary value. Right? So the touring agreement, you want to look at every single client that you get on Zillow like a blind date, right? Like you're going to be meeting this person for the first time. You don't know anything really about them. You don't know if they're even really going to be qualified. But at the same time, getting in front of them is where you're going to figure this out, right? So the buyer broker agreement is something that I get the buyer to do later when they're ready to make an offer on a property, right? So once I've built the rapport and the trust and the relationship with that client, then that's when I pitch to them the buyer broker agreement and that process of, hey, the next steps are, if you're looking to put an offer on this property, then the first thing we do is what's called a buyer broker agreement. And that's stating that I'm representing you throughout this transaction. So I'm going to be your quarterback on this transaction, helping you with everything, right? So a lot of people are going to be apprehensive, and this is where a lot of agents screw up. So this is what we don't want to do, right? The phone call comes in and you get a live transfer. Let's say it's a person looking to see 123 Main Street, right? And the first thing out of your mouth is, hey, Laura, by any chance, are you pre-qualified yet? Right? We don't want to ask that. Or, hey, send me your pre-approval and then I can get you in the door. These people don't know you from anybody, right? They've probably already spoken to potentially up to 40 people. So how you have to be different is have a relationship with them on the phone that's strong enough that they want to meet you in person. Go ahead, Laura.
Sorry, it's just I was working with Zillow Premier, but the last time I worked with them was June last year. So I'm pretty sure that things have changed from then. So back in the days, I was in Puller, Georgia, in Savannah, Georgia. And technically, in order to be able to show any house by law, you had to have the buyer brokers agreement signed, even if it was only for like 1 day, 1 week, or 6 months. So this tour agreement that Zillow this is just for Zillow, correct? Any other client, I should try it, like treat them the same way I was doing it before.
Well, again, that's your choice, right? We have touring agreements outside of Zillow that you can use.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, that's new to me because, you know, back in the days with me in Savannah, you had to have that buyer brokers agreement signed before you actually can show a house to anyone.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have one or the other, right? The rule that got put through 2 Octobers ago, or Augusts, I guess, 2 Augusts ago, is you have to have one or the other. You either have to have a buyer broker agreement or a touring agreement. The touring agreement essentially is going to be a short window span of about 7 days, maybe 10 max, that you can show them properties with essentially no monetary value attached to it, right? It's a dating, right? Like we're dating.
Mm-hmm.
The buyer broker agreement, now we're getting married, right? Like this is a commitment that you're owing me a commission regardless if the seller's paying it or not.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So think of it like that, right? Like the touring agreement is more of a dating process. You're figuring out if you're going to be compatible with this person, if it's a good fit. You don't want to discuss any type of financing, pre-qualification, or anything on the initial phone call if there is one.
Okay.
Right? Because you're just trying to get in front of this person. So you're going on a blind date with them.
And is this something that just changed recently, or is something that is from here, from like Florida?
Well, in Florida, we've had these rules for 2 years now. Some other states had different rules to begin with. So if you were from South Carolina, or did you say it was Savannah, Georgia, or Charleston?
Yeah, Savannah. Yeah, Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia. Okay, so in Georgia rules were different to begin with. I'm a full broker in North Carolina, and North Carolina is way different than Florida, right? So it's just the state rules in Florida changed 2 years ago, and you either have to have the buyer broker agreement or the touring agreement, or you get fined $500 if you get caught showing properties without one or the other.
Correct. Yeah, we didn't have the tour agreement. This is kind of new for me, which is just super interesting. It's pretty much going back to, you know, the basics. You're just going to have the agreement to like show the houses until you get to that relationship with the client, which is totally fine. But I'm so happy I'm hearing these things because I was completely clueless. I didn't know that was different here.
Yep. And it's very simple to explain the touring agreement, right? Hey, Laura, just want to let you know, Zillow is going to send you what's called a touring agreement for your signature. All that's stating is that I'm a licensed agent that's allowing you access into the property. That way we have a record of it for the seller. Okay, there's no monetary value tied to it or anything like that, but it does need to be signed prior to entering the door. Otherwise, I could incur a $500 fine. So I want to make sure that you sign that prior to the showing, okay?
Yeah, that's super easy.
So that's literally how I explain it to a client. And
Yeah,
they're like,
because I
"Oh,
usually used to
okay."
get to my appointments and pretty much explain the whole contract, buyer contract, explain the commission and how it work and how we like negotiate my commission and all that stuff.
Yeah, we
right
don't want to get into any
before
of
the
that, right?
house. Yes. Yeah.
Like that, I don't even know what kind of buyer you are. So I don't even want to discuss any of that stuff until I meet you in person, right? When I
Correct.
meet you in person in the initial meeting, when I'm showing you the property, I'm going around and I'm pointing out, the age of the roof, the age of the AC, the age of the hot water heater. Let's look at, the electrical, the windows, I'm pointing out all the facts, right, of the home. That's what I'm there for. I'm not there to sell you anything. I'm there to show you, here's the property. Here's the facts of that property. The roof is 5 years old. The AC is 3 years old. The hot water heater is 10 years old. This house was built in 2004. So there should be no issues with the plumbing or the electrical because not much has changed on code since then. Look, we've got an upgraded kitchen. You've got upgraded bathrooms. That's going to save you X, Y, and Z. I'm going through all this stuff with them in the initial showing. If I see something, I point it out. You see that stain on the ceiling there? That means there could be a potential roof leak. So I know this roof is only 5 years old. So we would need to find out if this is old staining or if it's new staining, right? All this stuff I'm pointing out to them. Then I'm going to get into, so Laura, tell me, what did you think? What was your overall impression of this property? What did you think about it? Did it fit your needs? Right? I'm just probing. I'm asking questions.
Correct.
I'm letting them tell me what they think about it. Then I'm going to regurgitate everything they told me and say it again to them so they know that I'm listening. Right? Well, I know that you said you love the fenced-in backyard and that it's a larger corner lot and it's in the school district that you want to be, but you wish that you had an extra bonus room for your office. I get that. So now I can try to help you find this exact house with maybe a bonus room to it. So we can go back to the drawing board and start looking for those. Right? So I'm going through all that with you. I'm listening.
Okay.
So essentially, that's all I'm doing. The minute that you tell me this house is the one, right? I could really see myself living here. This house is perfect for us. What do we need to do next? Great, I got you. So this is what we would do. I'm going to explain the process to you right now, right? This is how it works. If you're wanting to put an offer on this property, the first thing we would need to do is get you a pre-approval from a lender unless you already have one, right? If you got one, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal at all. I have lenders that can get you pre-qualified in less than an hour, okay? So we would need to get that done so we can see if this house is within your budget. The next thing we would need to do is sign a buyer broker agreement stating that I'm the licensed agent that's representing you through this transaction, right? So I'm going to be your quarterback. I'm your Mahomes here, right? You're my Kelsey. And I'm going to help guide you through this entire process and get everything set up for you as we go through it, right? So the first thing we would do is, once we get that pre-approval, is type up a contract. So I'm going to go through all those terms of that contract. And it's going to be how much the price is going to be, how much your escrow is going to be. If you don't know what an escrow is, that's the initial deposit you put down in order to show your good faith that you got skin in the game, right? That you're moving forward. After that, we're going to set up your inspections. We've got to set up appraisals. All of that stuff I'm going to help you with and guide you through that whole process. That's what I'm here for. Right? I'm literally telling them this entire process at the kitchen table or the dining room table of the house if they say they like it. but this is the type of stuff that we're going to train you on. So I know this is a lot of information right now. Like I've basically opened up the fire hose and you're trying to drink from a fire hose. I get that. But real estate is something that you can never stop learning. I've been doing this almost 12 years and I still learn new stuff every day. But you need to hone your craft as much as possible. So going back to time blocking, I know we talked earlier about calling people maybe 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, maybe doing some social media. One other thing I would time block every single day, an hour a day at least, is product knowledge, right? Like, what are the different types of roofs in Florida? And how long do those roofs last? What types of electrical would you see in an older home compared to a newer home? What types of plumbing makes you see in an older home compared to a new home? All of those types of things, I know backwards and forwards because I've studied it over and over and over. But when I walk into a house, I can point that out to a client and tell them, hey, just to let you know, this house has polybutylene pipe and it's not going to be insurable. So that means this home has to be replumbed prior to closing or you're not going to be able to purchase it. The minute I tell them that, they're like, holy crap, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to trust him because he's not trying to sell me anything. He's pointing out a flaw with the house on the front end before I even get my hopes up on trying to buy it. He's giving me raw facts. That's the type of stuff that's going to catapult you to the next level of agent and dominate over all these other turds that are out there that call themselves agents. Does that make sense? Does everybody get that?
Yep.
Does
So-
anybody else have any feedback to that? Any questions?
I do have a question. I'm sorry, I don't want to open a can of worms because the process is different here, and finally I get to like figure out how it is now that you're talking to me. My other question is the process that we used to do in Savannah, then we will like if the client or the customer decide to, yeah, this is the house that we want. We will request from the seller's agent to get us the commission information that we can sign. Is that the same process here or is just different?
Yeah. So if your client wants to move forward on a house, the first thing I'm going to do is call the other agent, the listing agent. And I'm going to say, hey, Laura, I just showed your property over here at 123 Main Street. My buyer is interested, but I wanted to know what type of commission you're offering on the property, right? And you're going to tell me 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever it is. You might say, well, that depends on your offer. If they say that, then there's going to be a whole different process, which we would have to guide you through. That's what Caitlin would help you with on. But most of the time, they're going to tell you what it is. When they tell me, well, Matt, it's 2.5%. Okay, so is that going to be a broker to broker or is it seller to buyer's broker? Because there's two different documents, right?
Okay.
It depends on the listing agreement that they do with that client, whether they're saying, okay, I'm charging you X amount and I'm splitting X amount with the other agent, or I'm charging you X amount and then you're going to have to pay the other agent X amount when that deal comes about, right? There's two different ways you can do a listing agreement.
Correct.
So you're going to learn all of that stuff with Caitlin, and you're going to learn it more the longer you're on the team. So I don't want you to stress about the stuff that we haven't even gotten
Yeah,
to
I'm
yet.
sorry. Just like is the first time I had the opportunity to ask this question, so I'm excited. So yes, don't worry.
Yeah, no worries. And
know.
this goes for everybody, right? Like anybody that has a question, feel free to reach out to me, Sam, Angel, Eric, Angie, Caitlin. Any of those people can help answer your questions, right? Depending on who your team lead is or whoever. And I would also recommend that y'all buddy up with each other, right? So if you're in a location with someone else that's on this call, or maybe someone else in general that you know already on the team, you're better off to have an immediate partner that you can bounce stuff off of with each other to help you be more successful. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
makes sense. And on that note, last question, promise. When are you gonna get to like meet all my team?
So tomorrow is the monthly team meeting, right? So we do have trainings every Monday. Angel does a 10 o'clock training, and that's going to be based on your production, essentially, like helping you navigate your production and staying on track for your goal, your annual goal.
Okay.
Also on Mondays, I do this training every Monday at 1. Wednesdays, Caitlin does trainings with you, as well as Sam. And then Thursdays, we also have Zillow trainings on Thursdays, going through calls and how to navigate obstacles, right, on those calls. So we have tons of trainings, tons of meetings. Sometimes we know you can't be a part of everything, but try to be as available as possible. If you time block your day accordingly, you should have no problem being able to be available for the meetings, right?
Okay.
If you know that you have a training on Wednesday at 10 a.m., don't schedule a showing for Wednesday at 10 a.m., right? Like if you get someone, let's say a real-time touring comes in, right? So those real-time touring leads, which is what y'all are all new agents are going to get to begin with, that is going to be someone that went on Zillow that wants to see a specific property at a specific day at a specific time, right? So if it comes in and it's scheduled for tomorrow at 10, and you know you have the mandatory meeting tomorrow at 10, if you got to do it, fine. I don't want you to turn down business to go to a meeting. But if it's someone that you've already shown houses to or whatever, and they say, hey, do you mind showing us this house tomorrow at 10 a.m.? Just kind of go with it, right? Okay, let me see what I can get set up with the seller. Well, you know as well as I do that you have a meeting at 10. So when you call them back, say, hey, Laura, I reached out to the seller. Unfortunately, we can't get in at 10, but they said we could get in at 12. Is that okay with you? Most of the time, they're going to say that's fine, right? But blame everything on the seller, right? I always tell them I'm reaching out to the seller. I never talk about another agent. You are the only agent on the entire planet in their mind, right? We're not going to talk about listing agents, because the minute that you say, I'm going to reach out to the listing agent, then they're going to say, oh, well, I thought you were the listing agent. If you're not the gatekeeper of this house, why am I talking to you? Just put me in charge, or put me in touch with who's in charge here, because you're just a peon, right? So that's the type of verbiage I always want you to use is, I'm going to reach out to the seller now and get that set up. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir. And I did want to note, because I had a buyer from Zillow who was reaching out, and they thought that I was a listing agent. And the whole time I was saying seller and things like that. And they were trying to move forward, but they asked, and I confirmed that I wasn't the seller's agent, which made them kind of go around me and find the seller's agent and made a offer directly to them. Any thoughts on how I could have handled that, or?
So I guess during that discussion, you're saying they asked you if you were the listing agent?
Yes.
Okay, and you told them that you were not a listing agent. So then did they say, well, can you put me in touch with a listing agent, or how did that go about?
No, once I acknowledged them that I was not the listing agent or anything like that, they were just like, okay, no problem. They were like, I appreciate you for helping me and showing me the property and everything like that. And I told them, yeah, no worries. If I can reach out, I told them I would be reaching out again later and things like that. Later that day, I started following up, and because I didn't want to push the contract on them right then and there, because I saw that they were ready to move forward on that property. But I told them I would reach out later on in the day. And when I went to reach out, I called, they didn't answer, and I just kept on calling and calling, and they didn't answer. But I got a hold of them today, and they let me know that they went ahead and put an offer, and they found the agent and everything.
Okay, so you had shown them the property.
Yep.
And then when they found out you weren't the listing agent, they basically ghosted you, went radio silent, and called the listing agent directly.
Yes.
Okay. So unfortunately, that could happen, right? It's happened to me before. It could happen to any of us at any given time. If you get asked that, be honest, right? Like, we don't want you to lie.
Yep.
Essentially, you're going to tell them, I'm not the listing agent. I am here as your buyer's agent to help navigate you through this process. The listing agent is essentially working for the seller, right? So if you want to deal directly with the listing agent, that's your choice, but they're working for the seller. So they don't have your best interest in mind, right? As the buyer's agent, that's what I'm here for. So, again, you can explain it till you're blue in the face. Some people may accept it, some people may not. So you're not going to win them all, but the goal is, if you've built a good enough rapport and relationship with people to make it to where they're trusting you, a lot of times they won't want to move on to anyone else, right? That's why I said, when I go into a house, if I see something in that house that's not copacetic, right? Like a stain in the ceiling or around a fireplace, there's maybe the ceiling is stained or peeling, or I don't know, it looks like a window is cracked or leaking or whatever, right? If I see it, I'm going to point it out. Say, look, hey guys, I just want you to see this, right? Because this could cause a potential problem with your inspection. So I'm upfront with them on everything. Now, if it's something that might freak them out, I'm going to talk them off the ledge too, right? Like, if I'm walking on the outside of a house and it's stuccoed and there's all these hairline cracks in the stucco, and people are like, oh, well, could that be a sinkhole? That looks like it's settling. Well, no, in Florida, most homes are built on what's called a monolithic slab, right? So that's a free floating concrete slab that will sometimes settle because we have very sandy soils. So these cracks are very minor. It's very easy to patch and cover up and just repaint. No big deal. Now, if they're big enough to where you can put your finger in them, that might be a different story. That could be a major settlement issue. But again, it's just how you explain it to the client. And you are not a salesman, right? We're all salesmen, but we're not really salesmen. We are here to find out what the client needs and what their current situation is and try to solve that problem for them. Everything else will fall into place if you simply are trying to help them and get them as much information as they need to make an informed decision.
I have a quick question. Is there a reason why they would have preferred to deal with the seller's agent?
Sometimes people that don't understand real estate feel that if they go to the listing agent, they're going to get a better deal on the property because now they're cutting out another agent. Little do they know that 99% of the time, the commission is the same price regardless if you use the listing agent or not. Right? So now that just means that listing agent made both sides of the commission instead of one side. So a lot of times people have that in their head that, oh, if I just go directly to the listing agent, I can cut out this other guy or girl, right, and save myself some money. Little do they know they're dealing directly with someone who has no reason to support them over their seller, because their seller is their main priority, right?
Right.
Some states won't allow it though, right? Like in North Carolina, I don't know about Georgia, Laura could probably tell you, but in North Carolina, I can't represent both parties. I can only represent one or the other. I can't represent both. So some people may think that too, that, you know, oh, I couldn't go to the listing agent in another state, but I can do it here in Florida. So I'm going to try to do it this way instead of using another agent on the other side, because it cost me money last time. Right? They might have the wrong mental process or thought about how it works. Go ahead, OJ.
And also that buyer, they did say that they've done that before, and they've purchased multiple properties because they're businessmen as well themselves, and they've purchased homes in California and in Maryland. So they said this is what they just do. They're it's not their first time, but it wasn't much I could have done or anything like that. They didn't give me much room to try to work something out or anything like that.
Yeah, and again, welcome to our world, right? We win some, we lose some, but at the end of the day, all we can do is what we can do. Try to make the best impression that you can as quickly as you can with the people that you get in front of. Some of those people may mesh well with you and feel like they've built a good enough trust and rapport with you that they want to use you. Some may not, right? That's just life. Not everyone likes my personality. I understand that. I'm very blunt with people. Some people like that, some people don't. At the end of the day, I feel that overall it's been a benefit for me in how my clients have called me out of the blue. You know, maybe I haven't spoken to them in 5 years, which shame on me, but they're like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but you know, I was very happy with how you put me as a priority and how honest you were with me. I want you to list my house now, right? Maybe others felt that I was too blunt and they didn't like my personality, but that's with everything in life, right? You're never going to please everybody, but I can tell you that I've also learned to be a chameleon with my personality, and I can change that a little bit around different people depending on what kind of vibe and to a certain point with your personality. And I don't say that saying that I'm completely different, right? Like I don't act one way in front of someone and a completely different way in front of another. It's just the way that I talk or the things I say may be a little bit different around one person than another, depending on their personality that I've picked up on. Does everybody get what I mean by that? Does that confuse anybody?
No.
No,
Okay.
that makes perfect sense.
And hey, here's another thing. There are certain times where certain people only want to work with a woman, or certain people may only want to work with a man, and vice versa, right? That's just the way the world works. So that's another reason why I was saying this the other day. I don't know how many of you were on that call, but it's good if you buddy up with someone to maybe buddy up with a member of the opposite sex, right? If you're a guy, maybe buddy up with a girl, so that if someone's avoiding your phone calls, say, hey, do you mind calling them? See if you can get them on the phone, and vice versa, right? Because some people may hear a different voice and it connect better with them and it resonates better than someone else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So anything that you can do to be different, right, and try different things is just going to make you more successful. Because I'm telling you now, we work in an industry that already has a negative stigma to it, right? Like agents, realtors are just above scum of the earth, right? You got like the scum, and then we're right in that level with attorneys and used car salesmen, right? We're right there just above the scum level. So the way that you can get above that, right, and be different and prove that you're not that type of person is by how you present yourself, and you're not a salesman. You're a problem solver, right? You're the quarterback. If you can prove yourself to them, that is more important than anything else you can do. So anyway, any other questions or concerns? Okay, so again, these real-time touring leads are going to come in, right? It's going to come into your phone. It's going to show you the property address, the day and the time they want to see it. You're going to hit the green check mark to approve it. If you can't make it, do not accept it and don't show up. So just decline it. It'll go to the next person in line. If you accept it, Zillow will call and schedule the appointment on your behalf or send out the notification, and it's going to send you the confirmation and everything. Then you can also send the touring agreement to them through the Zillow app so that you don't have to worry about any of that. Once all that is done and you've got the confirmation, then you're going to call the client and reach out to them, right? That call is very important because you want to get verbal confirmation that they're going to show up for this tour. Because maybe they put in 30 of those stupid things on 30 different properties, right? So they may not know who you are, what property this is about. So you want to get verbal confirmation. So if you call them and they don't answer, send them a text message. If they don't reply to your text message, let them know, like, hey, I need a verbal confirmation that we're meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm not showing up without a verbal confirmation, right? Let them know that because your time is valuable just like theirs is. If you don't kind of put some pressure on them to give you a verbal confirmation, I promise you they will walk all over you, right? Your time is of no importance to them. That's just how people are, right? So make sure they know that they need to give you a verbal confirmation that you're meeting at whatever day and time from them. When you call them, if they do answer, you're going to introduce yourself. It's very easy, right? Hey, this is Matt Messmer with KW. Just calling to let you know that I'm getting everything set up for you for tomorrow at 3 p.m. at 123 Main Street. Were there any other properties that you were interested in? Right? Or what drew your interest to this property? Anything specific? Right? You want to ask them. What drew your interest to that property? Let them tell you. When they tell you, regurgitate it back. Okay, so I hear you saying that you wanted X, Y, and Z, right? You like that it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this school district for this price, whatever, right? Again, you're building that rapport. So when you call them, you want to probe and try to find out a little bit about what they need and what they want so that you can help them even better. Because that's the thing I'm going to tell you straight up. When I call you, right, on the first call, and I start asking you what drew your interest to it, and you tell me, I'm going to say, okay, were there any other properties that you wanted to see? Well, not right now. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to pull a list myself of everything that you just told me you're looking for, and I'll try to get those set up just the same so that when we meet tomorrow, we can look at 3 or 4 properties, not just one. How does that sound? I've never heard anyone say, oh, no, don't do that. Most of the time they're like, oh, wow, you can do that for me? Cool. Right? So you're going a level above. Now, things will be different when you get live calls coming in, and we'll go through that next week on next week's call because this one's going to be over in just a minute or so. But with the real-time tourings, that's how it works, right? Zillow pretty much does everything for you. but you still want to call that client and try to get them on the phone and have a verbal conversation with them. If not, send them a text message and let them know that you need to make sure that you're confirming this appointment. If they don't confirm, I wouldn't show up. Don't waste your time. So that's all I got for y'all. Any other questions before we wrap up?
Yes, quick question, Matt. So, with the would that show up on like Follow Up Boss? That Zillow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So what'll happen is when you accept that lead, Zillow owns Follow Up Boss. That's why they make us use it. But everything syncs perfectly. So you're going to get a notification, and that lead is going to get synced to your name and go into your bucket. Then you can go back and put notes in to that lead. You can text message that lead through the app, and you can even call that lead through the app. If you call them, it's going to notate that call and transcribe it in Follow Up Boss, so you can see the entire conversation that you had with them through Follow Up Boss.
Okay, perfect.
That system, to me, I've used Command, I've used Sync, I've used Follow Up Boss. I think it was one other that I used in the past. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but out of all the ones that I've used, Follow Up Boss, in my opinion, is hands down the best and most user-friendly CRM I've ever used. It's worth every penny. OJ, what you got for me?
Hello, could you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I wanted to ask with those calls, do we have a time that we go back and listen to the calls and give pointers and things like that, or that's not something that we do? I'm not sure.
Yep. So on the live calls that come in, which you will get 30 days after your probationary period and you've passed your mock calls, you'll get live calls. Every one of those calls is recorded. You can go back and listen to them yourself, but that's what we do on our trainings on Thursday, is go through those calls and
Okay.
see if there's anything that we could guide you and train you to do better.
All right. Perfect. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Sarah, you got your hand up?
Yeah, on one of the mock call trainings, it was like a person calling about a home for someone else. Like, how do you handle that?
So what I would do is, if, let's say, you call me and you're looking at a house for your cousin or whatever, right? The first thing I'm going to try to do is find out if I can talk to the cousin directly, right? Like, hey, Sarah, I understand you're calling to look and get information on this house for your cousin. Is there a way that I could talk directly to your cousin to ensure that I'm helping them at the utmost capacity that I can, right? That's the first thing I want to try to do. If you say, no, they don't live here or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I'm more than happy to meet you, but at the end of the day, right, like, if they're the one purchasing the home, at some point in time, I'm going to need to be able to have an open line of communication with them in order to help them purchase a home, right? Like, it's going to be very difficult to navigate playing telephone, right? Where I'm talking to you and you're talking to your cousin, and then your cousin's talking to you and then you're talking to me. That's not a very good process to have. That's where things fall through the cracks. And at the end of the day, it's always our fault, right? In this industry, no matter what, it's always our fault. It's just unfortunate, but that's the blame that we get. We just have to take it on the chin.
Okay, so would you proceed with like the showing, or would you just be like, no, like not waste your time with it?
I would still try to get in front of them. Like I said, I'm going to try to get in front of as many people as possible, because even though you're looking for your cousin, you're still an opportunity, right? Like, what about when you're ready to purchase a home? Or what about your other cousin or your brother or your coworker, right? Like, the more people that I can get in front of and prove myself to, the more that word of mouth gets around, and they're going to refer me to other people.
Okay.
So I don't look at anything as a waste of time, even though, like with OJ's situation, right? He met those guys. They kind of screwed him over, in my opinion, right? It sucks. But at the end of the day, they may call him back one day and say, hey, I know that, we didn't use you this last time, but we really got a good vibe about you, and we really feel like you could help us. Could you list a property for us, or could you, help us with this or whatever? They may call him out of the blue and do that. You never know.
Okay. And then as far as like the training goes, because I think I did pretty bad on that one because it kind of like threw me off. What does Zillow like want you to respond with in that situation?
To be honest, I don't know. We can ask and see. I would assume they would want you to still get in front of the person, right? Because again, everyone's an opportunity. So the more opportunities, the better. Whether it's for you or your cousin or whoever, I'm still going to try to meet you.
Okay, so I still just like
They
go
have-
through with like the introduction, set the appointment, and then do the probing questions. But I think that's where I kind of got like a little bit lost, because I was like, well, like how do I ask this person like what the other person's current situation is, or if they've spoken to any lenders,
Yeah. And I mean, you can still ask them that, like, hey, I know that you're calling on their behalf. By any chance, is there a way that maybe we could get on a 3-way conversation with them? They say, no, right now you got to deal with me. Okay, no problem. So I do have a couple questions, like what kind of home are they looking for? Like, specifically, how many beds and baths, right? Because obviously if I want to be able to help them, I need to know what they need, what they're looking for. You're just being blunt, right? Like, hey, how am I supposed to help you if I don't even know what you're looking for? And if they sound like, oh, well, I don't really know, that's a good question. Okay, well, it might be better when they are available so that we can all talk at the same time. I know that you're going to be their boots on the ground here because they don't live here, right? But how am I supposed to help them if I don't know what they need, right? So is there a way that we could schedule a 3-way conversation where they know that you're going to be meeting me in person, but they can tell me everything they're looking for so I can start sending them properties to look at? I mean, worst they can say is no, right? Okay, well, then it'd probably be a waste of your time.
Okay.
But you don't know till you ask. So anyway, OJ, you still got your hand up, or was that from last time?
That was from last time.
Okay. Outside of that, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. I've got another meeting I got to jump onto. Next Monday is Martin Luther King Day. I don't know if y'all have anything planned, but I'm still going to be doing the 1 o'clock call. If you want to be present, great. If not, I get it. It is a holiday. But we are trying to be as readily available for y'all as possible. Okay.
Okay, and quick question, Matt. Who do I ask for at the Turkey Lake office for the meeting tomorrow?
Sean would probably be able to get y'all set up in an office somewhere, I would think.
Okay,
'Cause-
so good speak with Sean.
Yeah, I would think Sean's already, unless he's not planning to come in, but I feel like Sean's in the office all the time. If
Oh.
you haven't, if you're not able to get with him, Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I would ask Sean, like the actual team lead, Sean, of the whole office, because we have a Sean on our team as well.
Oh, okay.
But SHONN Sean McLeod, the other Sean that is on our team, he's in the office quite a bit too. But I would think that the other Sean would be able to get y'all set up somewhere.
Okay. And what time again you said?
11 to 1.
11 to 1. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I'm going to leave y'all with it. We will see y'all tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the all team meeting, and we will go from there.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Likewise.
See you.
Thank you.